Is Jaguar as a brand finished? Well, not according to this event. This is the Great British Jaguar Day, a chance for individuals of a certain niche to get together and show off their Jags. And there are hundreds, if not maybe up to 1,000 Jaguars here today. Even in the public car park, we have other various cars here to look at the Jags that are being celebrated on this day at Bicester Motion. The main highlight for me so far about this show is ticket prices. £41, a little bit steep for a Bicester event, especially a single make one. It's not quite as busy as their scrambles, but maybe a little bit more expensive. But that's Jags for you. This is the Jaguar only parking section, and I'm on a bit of a mission to see if anyone snuck in a non-Jag. I did see an E-Type with a Chevy small block V8 in it. There are also 2 I-Paces I've counted so far, and that is more like the future of Jag, of what you've come to expect with them. No longer have you got long bonnets that you can see all the way up here. You've got the short bonneted electric appliance. However, with their new Jaguar Type 00 or 01, as it's going to be called when it reaches production very soon, that's also got a long bonnet, despite no need for a bonnet at all. Cars like this C-Type recreation do use genuine Jaguar components underneath, much like my Cobra, which I should have brought because that's got the rear end of an 88 Jaguar XJS and it's LSD. Now, I've just heard the distinctive sound and startup of a Jaguar XJR 15. Beautiful 12-cylinder notes, so it's quite far in the distance, but the sound, that's what we're going to miss about Jaguar. Like an F-Type V8, for example, it sounds like the purr of a cat, and quite a lot of their models do have that purr about them, and that's what's going to be gone. And look at all of this history and heritage that Jaguar originally deemed not to copy and to pretty much ignore. I think they're taking a little bit of a back seat on that whole thing, and hopefully the new Type 01, or at least the Type 00 concept, will be here as well. I'm just edging towards this Jag. Oh, the round of applause deducts that they've turned it off already. So miles worth of chrome, the longest bonnets in existence, an absolute beauty. And obviously modern cars taking inspiration from their heritage. That is what Jag was about. And then you have the race pedigree, such as the Bicester Motion, which was a car capable of over 200 miles per hour with its 7-litre V12. They only made 20 or 30 of these. They were all handmade, obviously started life as a Jaguar XJS, but given these incredible wide arches that continue on to that rear spoiler. Such a legend in the automotive world. And it's not uncommon to see race-inspired liveries on a Jag, but I can't imagine newer Jags you're going to see that at all. And obviously from the E-Type they created the F-Type, then from the F-Type they created the Project 7, which was a hark back to the D-Type, and someone's alarm is going off. With Union flags waving everywhere, Jag is a brand that us Brits can be proud of, but will that continue? Well, this is where most of the crowd are. With the stage, you've got guests like Chris Harris and Harry Metcalf, and this is the main section with a Jag that I don't even recognise myself. You can see the classic Jag grille there, and then the prancing cat, but the rest of it looks like an Italian-styled vehicle, like an ISO. Because this is the Jaguar FT Coupe, taken a 420 Jag, and Bertone designed this car. So yes, Italian styling, but is a Jaguar 420 underneath, obviously left-hand drive. And here is an art piece by Gerard Mankiewicz. So he creates art for rock legends and has turned his hand to this Jaguar E-Type, which is currently electronically converted. So this really is an indication of new versus old. However, they say it's completely reversible. You can put its original power plant back in because this art car is for sale, and they do offer it with either the EV platform or a petrol engine. And you're now looking at another Jaguar XJS with a difference, and it's not the loose bit of trim. This is an XJS shooting brake. I adore shooting brakes, especially coach-built creations, often hand-built, all fabricated to blend in the original lines of the car into this more practical hearse-like shape. And especially on a sporty car like the XJS, it really works. Now they're about to start a podcast over there, I believe. So I think no better time to go inside and see what's in the hangar. Okay, these are special, especially a Le Mans car. So this was a collaboration between Lister and Jaguar in the 1958 Le Mans 24-hour, and this is what I'm talking about. Heritage and history that is not to be ignored. It's a piece of absolute beauty, this, with the classic, almost Lotus and Caterham yellow and green livery. Obviously, green being Jaguar, yellow being Lister. And here we have Jaguar's XJ220 supercar. Obviously, originally intended to have their V12, but ended up with the retro turbo V6 in the middle. It originally was meant to have Lambo doors that go upwards, but no, they come out like a traditional car. But despite the disappointment at the time of its build, this is definitely a future classic to behold. These will be £1 million very, very soon. We have an XJS police car. This was used as a demonstrator car by the Metropolitan Police Force amongst other police forces. So I don't think it ever actually went through any police chases, this car, but entirely capable if it is indeed their 6-litre V12 model. Unfortunately, this one is the 3.6 straight 6, so maybe not the fastest. And here is a baby E-Type Dom. And next to this Jaguar D-Type, we have the Cooper Jaguar T33. Now, this car was another collaboration, obviously Cooper and Jag. Cooper obviously becoming Mini Cooper, another collaboration with Austin and Mini, but this was their collab with Jag to actually compete against the D-Types and C-Types of the day. In fact, this is an Alton Jaguar Sport from 1958, another collaboration. And this is not Jeremy Clarkson's Jaguar F-Type from the Grand Tour. This was actually made first, so perhaps the inspiration for him, although this is just the 2-litre 4-cylinder Jaguar F-Type, but it was built to celebrate 70 years of Jaguar sports cars. But much like Jeremy's Jag, it's got the spotlights on the bonnet, we've got off-roading tyres, the suspension has been lifted, and it's got a full roll cage in a convertible F-Type. I didn't actually know that this car was produced, but there was definitely a lot of inspiration that the Grand Tour took from this. If they didn't, then maybe it's just a coincidence. But look, you've got mud flaps there. It has been used in rallying. There are various pictures online of this jumping over various dirt jumps on rally stages, but you can tell with that central exit single exhaust pipe, this is the 4-cylinder model, not the V6, which has have 2, or the V8, which has have 4. Then we have the prototype of the Jaguar F-Type GT4, which was meant to compete in the British GT Championships. But before we go on to actual Le Mans legends, we have a legend of the silver screen. So this is the Jaguar from Austin Power's Gold member, although this isn't the actual car. This was a Jaguar UK press car, which is blue underneath, and then they made a homage to the Jaguar with the Union Jack. And then, of course, James Bond, on which Austin Powers was inspired by. This was one of the original villain cars in James Bond. And over here in blue is a very special car, again from James Bond, the CX-75 hybrid assisted 780 brake horsepower. This is the car we want to see from Jaguar, not that. This is a beautiful supercar which has classic Jaguar lines and curves in it, but unfortunately, due to financial reasons, they never actually made this into production. But I love endurance race cars, and this Jaguar XJR8 is a favorite. Again, the livery is what really makes these. The silk cut livery, the purple with the yellow. So this car took 5 of Jaguar's 8 wins in the World Sports Prototype Championship, the XJR8, that later became the XJR9 and so on. But this is fantastic with the covered rear wheels for better aero. And they ended up with the XJR14, an ultimate Group C race car in 1991. And it's not just Le Mans, because Jaguar also entered Formula 1 in the year 2000. What was once Stewart's Grand Prix became Jag, I think just a few years. That same brand then became Red Bull. But it's amazing to see Jaguar green on the Formula 1 car. As a kid, once again, I loved the look of these cars, the HSBC livery, and then we have another Jaguar XJ220 in British Racing green. This one more of a dark teal. And here is perhaps where enthusiasts want the Jaguar brand to go, because this is a lineup of 4 continuation models. So we've got the Jaguar E-Type continuation, one of only 6 brand new E-Types that are being built on the original run of 18 lightweight that were meant to be built in 1963. So they're kind of continuing the chassis. And again, with the Jaguar D-Type, they plan to make 100 of them, but they only made 75. So now the remaining 25 are being built. This is one of them, with gorgeous leather seats there, and you can sit a passenger there if you take the cover off, or if you want true passenger comfort, you get the Jaguar C-Type continuation once again. And then perhaps the most valuable one, a continuation of the Jaguar XK SS, which was meant to be the road-going version of the C and D-Type race cars, and the car that is the future of Jag. So this is the Type 00 concept car, although they have now announced that a production model will be called the Jaguar 01. So 0 being zero emissions, it's electric, and 1 being the first car in this new breed of Jaguar that this is showing. A full rebrand of the Jaguar brand, and obviously this one is just a 2-door. The factory car will be a 4-door vehicle, but it was actually shown very recently at the Monaco Formula E race, still in camouflage, but this is basically the design language. Now, I don't hate this. I love how they've still got the long bonnet that is synonymous to Jaguar. They have taken some of their history and inspired themselves by creating this controversial objects, I'm going to call it. And you've got the twin rear light bars that will probably be continued on the production car as well. So the car you see here is going to be visually very similar to the car that will be revealed at the end of the year. As I said, it's going to have 4 doors, not just the gigantic 2-door setup that you see right now. So this is the same car we saw at the Festival of Speed last year, except this is London Red, a unique colour made by Jaguar as a homage again to London, which is obviously the spiritual home of Jaguar. It's a beautiful satin red, and hopefully it might be an option on the production car, the Type 01. So I've actually seen this car 3 times and my opinion hasn't changed. The almost 2-meter long bonnet on it is very Jaguar. People have even said the rear lights are similar to that of the XJ220, which we'll compare in a little bit. I mean, the interior I can show you a little bit as well. Whether that makes the production car, I don't know, but Jaguar themselves say they won't make a concept that just teases you with something that they can't do. They know they can make something like this. The massive wheels, that rear end that curves down, much like the E-Type coupe of the 60s. This is what Jaguar is going to be like in the future, and who knows what other models they'll bring out after the 01. What will the 02 look like? The 03? Because the naming of Jaguar will change as well. So, you know, wing mirrors are going to go onto the car. It's going to be more of a road legal viable vehicle. And at the end of the year, we're going to see it. So let's come around to the rear of the XJ220 and see what they mean. I think it's those horizontal slats that are shared on the Type 00. I mean, you could say it's clutching at straws a little bit, but we got new versus, not as old as an E-Type, but definitely new versus old. But we can't talk Jaguar without mentioning the SS 100, the first car to ever bear the Jaguar name in 1935. They later dropped the SS branding due to war-related items, and if you know, you know. But this was where Jaguar began as a company, with its long bonnet, curves down to that rear end, and 4 wheels, I suppose it's another similarity. And on my way out, I want to point some attention towards this dragster, because you probably guessed it, Jaguar V12 powered dragster. It's meant to have 1,100 horsepower with its recast and rebored V12, up to 8 litres now in capacity. Oh, it's so difficult to leave this hangar. We've got this 1956 Jaguar D-Type, one of just 2 to leave the factory in red. And then Jaguar E-Type number 15, the first one to be sold. Presumably they had 14 prototypes and Jaguar fleet cars, and this was the first ever sold Jaguar E-Type. It's a Series 1 coupe, but of course they were later cherished as 2-seater convertible sports cars. But back outside, whilst the podcast goes on, we've got a few more Jaguar race cars, including the Maguire's Jaguar S-Type, and then the ultimate iteration of the Jaguar XK, the XK RS GT. And if I just walk you over here, something from TWR is very special to behold. If you've had a chance to hear this V12 sing, you're in for an absolute treat. Look at the exhausts, and the interior is just as elegant. And though it's not as audible as it was earlier, here is the Jaguar XJR15, a road-going race car used in competitive endurance racing as well as a bit of a sales flop on the road. But before the ice cream queues get out of hand, I'm going to head on home. I actually had a really good day today. I did this for myself. I'm on my own. I was like, yeah, I want to see some Jags because I do love them. I've never owned one other than obviously my Cobra's rear end. It's an XJS, but it was a bit of a controversial event. They used AI for their poster and then the ticket price was a bit high, but it was actually very popular after all. Even the public car park where I ended up parking was very popular. Let's have a walk through. We've got the Vauxhall Frenzy next to an early Honda Prelude. I actually saw the new Prelude on the way here for the first time. Doesn't look too bad on the road. And then over here we've got a Jensen Interceptor as well. So I'll once again leave it open for the comments to make your own mind up about the rebrand of Jaguar. Obviously their publicity stunts they did at the start, they've forgotten that already. Now it's all about comparing the Type 01 to the E-Type and the XK120, and all the promo now with their new London red colour scheme, that's what they are doing. And obviously the camouflage Type 01 that we've seen in Monaco, if you put in a plate check, it comes out as a Jaguar I-Pace. Obviously it's another EV of theirs, so that's what they've done. So at the end of this year is when that car will be uncamouflaged. We'll get to see exactly what it looks like, but it's going to look a lot like the 00 that we saw in the hangar. But I hope you enjoyed that video from sunny Bicester. But for now, thanks for watching.